प्रूव, वो जब आप प्रूव करते हो तो ऑटोमेटिकली क्लाइंट आपके ऊपर कॉन्फिडेंस बढ़ाता जाता है, एंड द मिनट ही पोजेस मोर कॉन्फिडेंस इन यू, he'll give you different work, different kinds of work, better quality of work. एंड वहां पे जैसे जैसे आप डिलीवर करते जाओगे, डेफिनेटली द रिटर्न्स ओवर देयर कैन कंपनसेट फॉर द सो कॉल्ड लेस रिटर्न्स इन माय ट्रेडिशनल प्रैक्टिसेस. तो जो ट्रेडिशनल प्रैक्टिसेस का माइंडसेट है कि ये तो करना ही नहीं है, इसको करके तो क्या ही मिलने वाला है, सिर्फ रिस्की है, ऐसा नहीं है. कभी भी आपको कोई भी कंपनी में घुसना है, कोई भी बिजनेस को पिच करना है, आपका स्टार्ट पॉइंट विल ऑलवेज बी ट्रेडिशनल प्रैक्टिस. आप इनकम टैक्स रिटर्न्स बोलो, आप ऑडिट्स बोलो, वो आपको आसानी से मिलेंगे वहां पे, एंड दैट गिव्स यू अपॉर्चुनिटी टू प्रूव योरसेल्फ. आप जब किसी की ऑडिट कर रहे हो, ऑडिट के टाइम पे यू अंडरस्टैंड कि उसके बिजनेस में ये चीज है जो आप वैल्यू एडिशन दे सकते हो. द मिनट यू आर डूइंग ऑडिट एंड प्रूव दैट ये वैल्यू एडिशन हम आपको डिलीवर कर सकते हैं, विल दैट क्लाइंट नॉट गिव यू द अपॉर्चुनिटी? Definitely he will, right? Because what he wants is definitely value addition. But वो अगर आपको जानता ही नहीं है तो वो डायरेक्टली आपको नीश सर्विसेज के लिए अपॉइंट क्यों करेगा? तो यहाँ पे अदरवाइज क्या हो जाता है, इफ यू आर प्रैक्टिसिंग ओनली इन सम नॉन ट्रेडिशनल काइंड ऑफ प्रैक्टिस ऑफ एरिया, यू हैव टू डू अ B2B लाइजनिंग. यानी आपको कोई सीए जो ऑलरेडी प्रैक्टिस कर रहा है, ट्रेडिशनल प्रैक्टिस में है, उसके पास आपके रिलेटेड कोई काम आएगा तो वो आपको पास करेगा. अगर उसके पास नहीं आया तो पास नहीं करेगा. तो फॉर द नॉन ट्रेडिशनल एस्पेक्ट्स यू जनरली हैव टू डू लाइजनिंग विद द एग्जिस्टिंग चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट जिनके पास क्लाइंट्स है बेस्ड ऑन द ट्रेडिशनल प्रैक्टिसेस. एंड सो यू अप्रोच बोथ द रूट्स, एंड मेरे हिसाब से गोइंग थ्रू द ट्रेडिशनल वे एंड देन पिचिंग योर ओन क्लाइंट्स इज ऑलवेज बेटर, क्योंकि वहां पे आप अपना गुडविल B2C में क्रिएट कर रहे हो, एंड B2B तो डेफिनेटली ऑप्शन हमेशा आपके पास अवेलेबल है. सो डोंट शाई अवे फ्रॉम ट्रेडिशनल प्रैक्टिसेस. दिस इज द वन पॉइंट विच आई ऑलवेज वांट टू पुट इन, कि हम जो बोलते हैं कि मुझे ऑडिट तो करना ही नहीं है, टैक्सेशन इनकम टैक्स रिटर्न्स में तो दिमाग लगाने जैसा क्या है, ऐसा नहीं है. इनकम टैक्स रिटर्न्स आप फाइल कर रहे हो या ऑडिट, ऑडिट इज समथिंग जो आपको, अगर ऑडिट का होल्ड है ना, आप कुछ भी कर सकते हो. आप अपना स्टार्टअप रन कर सकते हो, आप टैक्स प्रैक्टिस कर सकते हो, आप कोई भी नॉन ट्रेडिशनल एरिया में, लेट इट बी फॉरेंसिक, आप आजकल जो ये सब चल रहे हैं, ऑल डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ वर्क आर अल्टीमेटली ट्राइंग. अगर आपकी ऑडिट स्ट्रांग है, मींस आपका एनालिसिस इज वेरी स्ट्रांग, यू नो हाउ टू कनेक्ट डॉट्स, ये डॉट किससे कनेक्ट होगा तो मुझे इसके रिलेटेड कुछ आउटकम मिल सकता है, यहाँ पे लैक्यूना है. तो आपके हर नॉन ट्रेडिशनल प्रैक्टिस का बेस इज ऑडिट. So accept that as a very strong point and don't shy away from traditional practices. That firstly, this is going to be a gateway to your work which you want to do for your life, and secondly, it will be like a bread and butter. आपको जो नीश सर्विस है या आपकी एक्सपर्टीज है वो कभी कभी आएगी, बट रेगुलर सैलरीज पे करने के लिए यू नीड ट्रेडिशनल प्रैक्टिस, यू नीड समथिंग दैट इज मोर स्टेबल, राइट? सो आई विल ऑलवेज रेकमेंड कि आप आर्टिकलशिप भी जब कर रहे हो, सो डोंट गो इन फॉर एक्सपर्टाइज्ड आर्टिकलशिप. एक्सपर्टीज कब होनी चाहिए? आप नॉर्मली भी, जैसे आप स्कूल, कॉलेज एंड मास्टर्स, हम ये चेन हायरार्की को भी फॉलो करें तो स्कूल में आपका जोन इज वेरी बिग. आपको साइंस भी सिखाते हैं, आपको आर्ट्स भी सिखाते हैं, आपको कॉमर्स भी सिखाते हैं, आपको लाइफ स्किल्स भी सिखाते हैं, सब सिखाते हैं. व्हेन यू गो टू कॉलेज यू स्टार्ट सिलेक्टिंग कि भाई अब इसमें से कौन सा ऐसा जोन है जो मुझे ज्यादा अपील कर रहा है. सो देयर यू स्टार्ट नैरोइंग डाउन कि आप या तो साइंस में जा रहे हो या कॉमर्स में जा रहे हो या आर्ट्स में जा रहे हो, राइट? आफ्टर यू डू योर बेसिक ग्रेजुएशन यू अंडरस्टैंड कि व्हाट इज द फील्ड दैट इज वेरी वेरी स्पेसिफिक, जहां पे मुझे एक्सपर्टीज लेनी है. सो दैट सेम थिंग गोज ऑन फॉर इंटर्नशिप ऑल्सो. ट्राई विथ समथिंग विच इज मोर ग्लोबल. जितना पॉसिबल है इस 2 साल में सीख लो. इसमें जब आप इतना सारा सीखोगे आपको समझेगा कि कौन सा ऐसा एरिया है जिसमें आपको आगे चल के प्रैक्टिस करना है. वो एरिया को आप मास्टर्स समझ के व्हेन यू आर डूइंग योर इंडस्ट्रियल ट्रेनिंग, फॉर एग्जांपल अगर आपको जॉब करनी है आगे चल के, देन गेटिंग इनटू एन इंडस्ट्रियल ट्रेनिंग इज बेटर, क्योंकि आपको वो गेटवे ऑलरेडी मिल चुका है. फर्स्ट 9 मंथ्स आप उधर एज अ ट्रेनी ज्वाइन किए तो बहुत हाई चांस रहते हैं कि ऑटोमेटिकली वो आपको एब्जॉर्ब कर लेंगे. But if you want to go in for a practice or your startup या बिग फोर में जाके काम करना है, तो इन दैट केस आई विल नॉट प्रेफर कि आप इंडस्ट्रियल ट्रेनिंग में जाओ. इन दोज केसेस स्पेंड योर एंटायर 2 years इन योर ट्रेडिशनल जो आपके आर्टिकलशिप फॉर्म्स रहेंगे. फिर लेट इट बी अ स्मॉल, मीडियम और बिग साइज वंस. सिलेक्शन विल डिपेंड अपॉन कि आपके आगे के गोल्स क्या है. ऑल पास स्पीकर्स आर गोइंग टू हेल्प यू विद कि हाउ टू which type of firm is more beneficial for you considering your goals. But learn everything right from the beginning. मैं day 1 से enter करूं, मैं बोलूं मुझे आर्टिकलशिप बिग फोर में फॉरेंसिक ऑडिट में ही करना है, मैं और कुछ करूं ही नहीं. That is not going to help. Don't have that kind of approach. Okay, so with this basic background I will give it a halt. If there are any questions specifically related to my topic, you all can please post it out here. I am definitely available till the end of the session, although not on the audio mode and video completely on, but I am there available. So we can have question answers later also. Back to the MOCs.
Thank you, Meeraji, for such a beautiful introduction and stressing on why generalization is the key to becoming a specialist. And I definitely agree with that point because unless and until you know a little bit of everything, you can't decide on the path as to what should I specialize in. And if you just specialize in one thing, you'll never know how big the ocean is, never know how big the world is. So thank you so much for touching upon that very dear to the heart topic, which I always explain to my articles. And so moving on.
This is something basically we all should understand. आज क्या हो रहा है ना, the interns are very small to understand at that stage. Later on, many times there comes a situation where they end up repenting कि काश हमको पहले से पता होता तो हम एक generalized approach तो लेते. Because there is a research in the developed countries that in your life, not jobs, 6 times you change your zones, you completely change your careers. जॉब तो चेंज बहुत सारे होते हैं, बट इवन करियर. आज मुझे ऑडिट पसंद है, कल मुझे शायद टैक्सेशन पसंद होगा, परसों मुझे कुछ और पसंद होगा. तो वो पसंद जानना बहुत जरूरी है, जिस विच विल कम ओनली विद जनरलाइजेशन.
True. So moving on, the next speaker is myself, and I'm going to be speaking on the new age practice that could be what Meera ma'am was saying, new age stuff that has now been entered in the practice, where you can work on a B2B basis, B2C basis with partners. So yeah, just an introduction. I run a small firm here in Mumbai, Navi Mumbai. We are a team of 40 people, and my major focus is on value addition to our clients. When I say a new age practice, it's a colloquial term when you are saying new age practice. Colloquially, CAs, the image of CAs is that we'll be doing traditional work, that is audit, taxation, compliance. Max to max will probably be running as executors, administrators of wills, and executing family planning, stuff like that. But since the advent of globalization, since 1990, our scope has vastly improved and increased. So today, CAs are into FEMA compliances. They're handling ECB borrowings, FLR filings. They are also into ODI management, India setup, subsidiary setup here in India. CAs are also, so I know CAs who are just working in that specific field, only subsidiary and ODI setup. Then I know CAs who are just into just into companies in India who want to set up abroad. So doing just UAE setup, doing just Australia setup, or a mix of both, or CAs who are working in Tanzania, Zambia, Africa, who are doing compliances for those countries. And I know CAs who are just doing RBI compliance work, setting up of AIF, setting up Category 1, Category 2 AIF. AIFs are basically alternate funds who invest in various companies basis the fund thesis. So the ocean is vast. I'm just speaking of investments right now. Then there are CAs who are working in ERP implementations, like myself, who are doing digital transformation for companies, and CAs who are into non-CA level work. They're handling marketing jobs. They are head of marketing in some companies who are deciding marketing budgets, what should be spent where, deciding production teams. So uh, it's unimaginable what a CA can do post clearing their CA exams and post doing articleship. So everything boils down to skills. So today I'll be speaking on the various avenues that CAs are and the ones that I'm working in and what holds for us in the future. So one, the most important avenue which I see today, which is going to boom in the future is AI and CAs. So today, I'm sure everyone who's an article would have worked on Excel and would have also at some point of his articleship journey thought कि अरे Excel में ये हो जाता तो automatically. What if this could have been automated in Excel? And that's what my point is. Today, AI is helping CAs to automate stuff, create their own reconciliation tools, create VBA tools for them so that they can automate their practices and work. This has application in GST, income tax, drafting, reading stuff, analyzing stuff, preparing memos for partners, short memos, uh, infinite application. So that is an upcoming field. Prompt engineering, if you would call it, or AI engineered solutions. A lot of law firms, a lot of CA firms are today looking at AI engineered solutions, which CAs themselves are developing. So CAs are becoming B2B partners for them. Moving on to other fields, there is digital transformation, which is brought about by ERP. So when I say ERP, there are a lot of ERPs in the market. Uh, you will all be aware of SAP, NetSuite, uh, Zoho, the current push which the government is giving to Zoho. So Zoho has also become popular. Then there is Udo. If you're living in Mumbai, you would have definitely seen on the freeway जहाँ पे उडो ने ad डाल रखी. So there is Udo, buses पे भी ad, a lot of places. And so yeah, all of these are ERPs. ERPs are bifurcated into various segments: small market ERPs, small to mid-size market, and large markets. Moving on from the digital practice, then there is a new age practice which is not that digital, but it is not a traditional practice. For example, valuations, due diligence, forensic audits, and okay. So now you know that there are a lot of things which are there in new age practice. How do you get there? So I understand when you join a mid-size or a small-size firm, you might not get exposure to all these practices. And these practices are generally limited to large scale firms who specialize in those things, such as management consulting firms, like MBB firms, which is BCG, Bain, or Big Four firms. But to get there, you should know your basics correctly. You should be very strong with your fundamentals. And to my articles as well, and to every new student who is pursuing CA, I would always tell them that you should focus on your basic principles in life. See, in articleship, if you say कि मुझे GST भी करना है, मुझे IT भी सीखना है, मुझे ROC भी सीखना है, I take them up as information. Everything is information at the end of the day. What you should know is the skills to handle that information, the problem solving skills which you should learn in articleship. If you're a good problem solver, you will definitely be able to do that new age practice that you want to do. Anyway, so problem solving skills, the number of new age practices which are there in the market today. Now, how do you join a firm which gives you exposure to those practices? There are boutique niche firms who work in those particular segments. If you are sure about yourself, you can identify your niche that you want to join. You can join those firms. Uh, my firm specifically works in digital transformation. We advise PSU companies, private limited companies on process audits. So we audit their processes and develop solutions. It could be robotic process automations, it could be ERP implementations, it could be as simple as a task scheduling activity happening on your PC. But simple things also make impact. And apart from that, we do have a list of firms who are working in niche practices, which I'll definitely share after this meeting is over with all the participants who are me. So that's about it. And I hope I was able to make your time worth my session. And if you have any queries, any Q&A from the participants, I'd like to take it right away rather than at the end of the meeting. Please shoot. Any participants here has any queries about what the new age practices are or anything apart from that? All right. So I think there are no queries then. Can we move on?
Yes, move on.
All right. So we'll move on to the next session then. I would request the speaker to please join.
Yeah. So you can hear me, Bhavish?
Yeah.
Clearly?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay. So
Bhavish,
hi all. Yeah.
Firstly, just announce out now what he's going to cover.
Yeah, so Mukesh Bhanushali is tax head here at an MNC, and he's going to cover the topic of taxation as an articleship choice and its nitty-gritties, what taxation is about, how it's being dealt at various levels of articleship, and practically as well after qualifying as a CA. So thank you so much, Mukesh, and please carry on.
Okay. Super. Hi all. Just as a quick background, it's been after qualification, it's been more than 70 years of experience. Of 12 years I've spent in Big Fours, or 12 to 13, and then 4 years now in industry, being a tax head for one of the MNCs in the insurance industry. So I think all whatever we are sharing, I don't think it was available at our point of time when we were pursuing. It was all just going in, filling the form, uh, you know, doing some research here and there, and stepping our way, assumingly the luck would obviously will be besides us. So first of all, I think it's good initiative by this forum or this trust to give this insight to you. And I'm sure you would take this as a privilege to have this understanding. And obviously, there are a group of people who would always be available as and when you need more information. So with that, I'll pick up the topic of taxation practice. As I said, 12 years, 12 to 13 years in Big Fours, it gives you a lot of experience, right? And I've heard Meera ma'am talking about articleship, Bhavik talking about articleship in Big Four, mid-size, small firm. I would say, for me to start with, it all depends what is that you want to do. I think that you should have an absolute clarity about in your mind that what is that you want to do. If your setup is good, and I would like to be very candid, if your financial setup is good, you can be in the ride or grind for 5-6 years, then definitely articleship, starting your own articleship definitely remains as a choice. But again, you think that no, I don't want to go through setting up of my own articleship and want to get going with a good amount of paycheck, or maybe a good amount big clients I want to work with. So then yes, I think that's the Big Four for you. But then getting on to it, so now that I think we have an understanding that what can drive you to which firm you need to choose, that's where you take a decision that okay, I would like to do that articleship in Big Four. Obviously, in Big Four, you will learn differently. In small size firm, you will learn differently. And in big size, medium size firm, you will learn differently. So the main difference you need to understand, the key one, right, out of anything is what is that you will learn. So in the small size, obviously, you will you'll have a 360-degree experience of the tax, I would say. I don't think a small size firm would specialize only in individual returns or returns and not in audit and all. Normally, small size firm will give you experience of audit plus returns. Again, obviously, the counters could be a bit smaller, but then as and when you keep going up, you will see that the specialization takes its own course. For example, if you get into a big four, you actually have three areas under the taxation itself wherein the articleship is being done, right? And first, the foremost is corporate tax, which comes with the international taxation, right? So it's a direct tax which we learn plus the international taxation. Then comes the transfer pricing, right? And then the third piece comes is the GST. And each one of the stream has its own charm, right? And also has its own faults as well. Maybe I'll just pick up the transfer pricing first. So the candidates who aspire, right, to travel abroad, take overseas experience, for them, I would very clearly say that the transfer pricing should be the choice, because transfer pricing is the one which is common across the globe. Transfer pricing basically is driven by OECD, right? The OECD is the mother of transfer pricing, which is Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. It has its own book explaining what methods should be used, how the arm's length should be determined and all. So if anyone is aspiring ke, मुझे Australia जाके work करना है for some years, they need to come back. And if you want a platform to take that course, transfer pricing could be one. 3 years of articleship in the transfer pricing, then 3 to 4 years of working. I can bet on you. If you search for 1 year, you will land up easily in one of the country. UAE is the hot cake currently because they have introduced the corporate tax along with the transfer pricing just 3 years back or 4 years back. So I see people left and right who obviously looks for an opportunity outside. I am extremely happy, back in my own country serving it. But again, everyone has its own aspiration. So if anyone aspire, right, or anyone is extremely willing, die-heartedly, then yes, this is the way, or this is a choice for you. Then comes two part, which is the GST and the international taxation plus direct tax, right? I'll pick up the GST first. So GST is definitely one. While in India, we are into the 9th year of GST. It got enacted in 2017. Earlier than that, we had various taxes. So under the GST, what is it now today, right? It's all about, obviously it has pros and cons. The cons is in the form of the compliances, wherein the GST is a transaction-based compliance, right? You have to go, even in your outward supplies, you have to look each transaction wise. So if bigger the company, the larger the quantum of transaction. And even for input tax credit, it's a transaction based. So you need to check your 2Bs, books, reconcile, then avail the credit and all. It had its own fun. And I would say, Bhavik rightly touched upon the AI thing, right? Because this is the time where you try to bring technology into the taxation, right? And you can use the technology when you know the law, right? That's the core. So I think today AI gives you that tool or gives you that ability to just think that what is that you want from the technology. If you have a clarity that what is that you want from the technology, then technology can give you, or AI will give you that option. So the coming back to the GST practice, it's very exciting. And if you ask me, I would see it is a extremely promising one for next 10, 15 years easily, because the quantum which it has covered so far, right? We would be, the threshold would further reduce, and ultimately you will see even the lower traders or the business people would come into the radar. Many people would therefore require the compliances. While government is doing, I think it's best to ease the compliance, but at the same time, someone to guide to the traders or the businessmen, GST would always be there. And it's not only in India. I think what we have in India, GST, its fundamentals remain across the globe, believe me. In Europe, it is VAT. In Australia, it is GST. Japan, it is GST. And I would tell you that if you are doing India tax, and it is, again, from my personal experience, you can handle tax of any country in this world. Obviously, US is a bit difficult because it has a federal and state structure. Bit difficult, but again, if you spend about 10 years under India tax, I don't think you will find any challenge. Yes, you should always have an ability and willingness to learn and keep improvising yourself, right? So that's coming back to again GST. It's definitely a promising one. It has some part of monotonous thing, but I think it always depends on you, that how you can make that monotonous thing interesting, how you can spend your time more on a quality check rather than just collating the data. And then the litigation which is coming up, I think that's the best. GST has got its attention of the government. If there is anything particularly to the industry which is there, the ministry is picking up, the GST advisory board is picking up. I have experiences of advocating one of the core issue of industry, or rather couple of issues of industry, which got attention of the GST council. We got it enacted and finally it came in a law, right? So when your advocacy, right, you are part of that advocacy, you are talking to the ministry level, you are trying to explain them what is wrong, what is right. That's what ultimately gives you the satisfaction as well. So GST for me definitely remains a promising one for next 5 years, 10 years, and you can make it as much interesting as you can. And there is a lot to learn under the GST as well. On the corporate tax and international taxation, so it goes hand in hand. While I think corporate tax in India is a kind of settled thing because it's, the transfer pricing was introduced in 2001, right? So as we are sitting, it's been 24 years. The GST was introduced in 2017. So as we are sitting today, it's 9 years. But the corporate tax is there in India, right, from 1961, right? So more than 60, 70 years, right? And you would see on each or any of the subject, there would be a Supreme Court judicial precedent, right, on most of the topics of litigation. So there is a huge amount of clarity, I would say, in on the corporate tax part. And I see, to my experiences so far, maybe I could be wrong, but the issues which are being picked up by the tax authorities are not on the technical aspects of corporate tax anymore. It will be more on the factual, or under the corporate tax, what it comes is a P, permanent establishment. And believe me, permanent establishment is a bird to catch, right? For understanding the permanent establishment, you need to obviously understand there's a lot in the globe to become master of permanent establishment, right? And I would say that if anyone is interested in the technicalities of the law, then the international taxation plus corporate taxation is where you should be, right? So this was the basic three area which you would find in the Big Four under the taxation. The fourth one, I would tell you, is very interesting, and it also depends upon whether you should choose that based on your own knowing of yourself, right? Because I think wherever you are going anywhere, stepping yourself, you should know your strength. You should know your, what is that, what is your personality, right? About. So if you believe the law interpretation is your thing, if you believe the in-depth research, eye to the details is your thing, then practicing of legal law is also one of the best course. When I say practicing of legal law, it is basically, taking a cases and fighting it in the courts, right? In India, I would say, nothing against anyone, but Parsis are the one, specifically in Mumbai, who are leading this cause. And they are doing this from 40, 50 years, right? I would love to see one of you, taking this course, spending its time. It's a beautiful area, believe me. When you see new clients coming in, right? When you see every time you will pick up a new case, you need to get into the depth of the issue every time. You need to understand what client is saying, what the authorities have alleged, pick up the points, pick up the arguing points, and also it's a court craft which you eventually develop. Believe me, once you spend 15 years under this, you will earn the fees which you would have never believed. Even from flying to Mumbai to Delhi for 1.5 hours, you would see client joining you in an airplane, briefing the sessions to you. And also you will get paid for that. And I've seen that, right? I've seen that. And, fortunately, I've worked with the top tax lawyers in India, be it under transfer pricing, be it under direct tax, or be it under GST. I say that that is one of the exciting area if someone loves the technical aspects of it, the legal practice under the law. And there are huge amount of lawyers, advocates who needs articles. Yes, you need to spend good amount of time, because if the case is on Monday, normally the counsel would start their preparation on Friday, Saturday, and all. So it will not come easily without a pain. But I'm sure I can guarantee you that if you go through that pain for 5 years, 7 years, 10 years, you would see yourself appearing in the court, tribunal, high court, right, for fighting the cases of the clients. So I think I've covered a lot. If there are any questions, I can take it up later, but I'll give myself a pause. And Bhavik, back to you. Thanks.
Mukesh ji, thank you so much for explaining the topics so beautifully. And you covered all the aspects of it, also pressed upon how GST is relevant internationally. And thank you so much for that. If you have any questions, we can take it right away, or we can take it at the end of the meet. Any questions from the participants? All right. I think then we can move on. Next, we have Sagar coming up, right?
Yeah.
Sagar, I'll just introduce yourself. So Sagar is working in Bobcaps and is working in the investment banking department. Specifically, he's working as an AVP in debt. And Sagar did his articleship in a mid-sized firm, and now he's heading the debt operations there. So yeah, over to you, Sagar.
So thanks, Bhavik. So good morning, everyone. And firstly, I would like to thank BCAF for giving me this opportunity to be, present in this webinar and joining today. It is my pleasure to speaking with all of you, my bright, ambitious students preparing to step into this most defining phase of your CA journey, that is your articleship. So as Bhavik had also rightly said, and even Mukesh had agreed on the same, that at our time there was no such guidance available, and accordingly we started our journey just with the flow which was going on. So even just like others, I just began my articleship at a CA, which is a mid-sized CA firm. So I then later on moved to a EPC company heading the accounts department there post my qualification. And then again, as I was, not my hunger for learning was not quested by this, so I pivoted to the finance department of the same EPC company and headed the same for 4 years. So after that, I got to understand that my interest lies in finance. And accordingly, later on, I moved out from that company and joined a reputed investment banking firm, wherein I started with, learning, I would say basically learning how to communicate with the client. So basically till that time, I was at the back end of the work. So I was not facing the clients at any point of time. So by coming to the, investment banking firm, the major change what I saw is that you have to be facing the client one-on-one, which was a great thing for me and which gave a kick to me that, yeah, now I am learning something new daily, which is a very new thing and which was a very, interesting thing for me. And accordingly, which helped me to, quickly climb the ladder up. And, within a span of 2 to 3 years, I have reached at the position of AVP in the same organization. And what I would like to share here is that, the articleship which I had done, which was of 3.5 years at our time, that was the foundation which stepped down the, foundation, which laid down the foundation stone for my career. So I would say you just don't consider this articleship as a, tick off condition that you have to do it and then you will be able to get a CA degree. I would say you will have to give not just 100%, but more than that to that articleship rather than just focusing on the theory. Because theory is just a one aspect of clearing the CA exams. But I would say the most major important is the articleship, which will give you the, the real life experience, how to implement this theory which you are learning during your course into the real world scenarios. And accordingly, if I would like to share my experience about the articleship. So when I joined that mid-sized CA firm, initially I was handled with the responsibilities of handling the bank audits. So that would also, I would like to highlight that that was one of the things which helped me, understand what my interests are. So that bank audits really gave me a kick that, yeah, this is the thing that I'm enjoying it, I'm loving it, and I would like to go deeper into it. So initially I started with the concurrent audits, then I moved on to the revenue leakages audits, then I moved on to the LFAR audits. So with this, I understood how the bank operates. The thing which we see that, depositing and loans, and it's just part of banks. But while going through the bank audits, I learned how the banks does their business and how do they keep themselves, up for their compliances, as it is a very tightly regulated business, I would say, as RBI is the strictest regulator in the world, I would say. So later on, I will continue back to the my experience at this investment banking firm. So for your understanding, I would just like to say that investment banking itself is a very wider term. It covers various aspects like, merchant banking services, valuation services. Then there are business restructuring services. Then there are finance restructuring services. There are fundraising services. That too, they have two verticals. Again, fundraising can be through equity mode, that is IPOs, FPOs, rights issues, buyback of shares, and there are various other manners and options. And the other option is like fundraising through debt mode, that is raising loan from banks. Nowadays, as Bhavik rightly highlighted, the AIFs are also coming into picture. So what we have seen is that recently, bankers are not that conducive to lending money. So with the upcoming of this AIFs, these AIFs are very aggressive and they are going ahead with the funding of the businesses, and they just don't go after the numbers. They also check the promoter background. They check for the intent of the promoter. They check how the business is doing and what is the future of this businesses, and how the business will be, coping up with the challenges not only domestically but also internationally, depending on the business model and the fund requirements. So that is also one of the area which is really shining right now. And I would highlight and try to inform all that you guys can take a note of this, that this is the new thing which is coming up, not into only into practice, but also at the industrial work experience side. I would say these AIFs are really doing good. And, there is a new learning, because you get to learn the new businesses as per the cases you handle. So each case is different from another, even if the same cases in the same industry or sector, still both the cases would be different. So you will have to constantly learn, you'll have to adapt to the new businesses which you are facing. You'll have to understand the business, you'll have to understand the promoter's intent or idea behind the business. You'll have to understand in case of funding, you have to understand the banker's thought process as to why they are reluctant to fund, or why they are happy to fund a particular project or a particular sector. So there are many things which needs to be taken care of, which are totally, I would say, different from the general practice. But still, I would say, I will agree with Meera ma'am also that general practice is the bread and butter, I would say, because while you do your articleship, this general practice area also gives you a base for your understanding. So basically, reading the balance sheet, understanding the idea behind the numbers. It's not just you have to punch the numbers or just try to come out with a tallied balance sheet or something. It is like you have to read the stories behind the numbers, and if you are able to do that, that would be the icing on the cake to get into any investment banking firm. So major thing what investment bankers look at while when we see when we try to hire a new person in our team is that it is not just the theoretical numbers. We try to understand how good the person is in communicating, how good the person is to taking up the challenges, how the person will be able to handle the pressures, how he will be coming up with out of the box solutions, because each case here will be different from the existing ones, or even in the same company from the same peers, it will be totally different. So every ball thrown at you will be a different, and you cannot apply that one solution to all. So that is what is about industrial training. And also what I would like to highlight further is that recently, just 2 years back, we have started at our own company also, that we take up industrial trainees, and I have myself trained 2 to 3 people in that program. So in case anybody is interested that you would like to join, you can reach out to me, and whatever the processes are there, I'll definitely help how to overcome that challenges if you are facing, if any, and get into the industrial training. I won't speak much about the experience about how the article is getting an experience at industrial training, because we already have Krish here to give insights, his personal insights on that. So with this, I would just like to take a pause, and I would like to take up the questions, if any, with respect to investment banking area, and if anyone is having any questions how to get into the investment banking the field and anything like that. So yeah, thanks, Bhavu.
Thank you so much, Sagar.
Here, question, I don't know, from student side also might come. I had one question.
Yeah.
Suppose someone wants planning for investment banking later on. So at articleship level, do they focus on some specific areas, any specific firms that will give you this kind of exposure? How do they navigate from this stage?
No, I won't be able to give you answer to this, because as I said, yeah, during my times there was no such guidance, so I am not aware how to get it. But once you are into this thing, industrial training, and how to take it ahead, I have that knowledge, and I have connects there as well. But however, I would just like to share my idea about this thing is that when you are into articleship and you are thinking of getting into an investment banking, I would say you would have to focus more on the SFM side, that is the strategic financial management courses, because that is the basic area. Because in any of the cases, the first main thing which comes up is that financial modeling. So for financial modeling, you have to be very strong with your numbers. You have to be a very clear mindset of your future projections, how they will go. You need to have understanding of the business, how the businesses run, and then and only then you will be able to come up with some financial model which is of acceptable to all the stakeholders involved in that particular case. So taxation as such, I didn't see anything that taxation here is a very important aspect, because for us, what we have done is that whenever some specialization comes, we definitely reach out to some specialization firms, because here the stakes are high, and accordingly, we cannot take their call that it will be acceptable to the lenders. Even a smaller mistake might lead to the entire transaction getting failed.
So in this case, what kind of, as you said rightly, for example, taxation might not be too much of helpful. Definitely when you are doing, it is more of licensing, if I would say.
Yeah, I would say licensing is a
Different from,
very important thing here, because what we here at my organization do is that we don't restrict our juniors or even the new joinees to stay at the office. We encourage everyone to step out of the office, meet the clients, or meet any new leads which they get, so that they will learn how what the requirement is from the client, and then only then they can be in a better position to give their inputs, that what they can do for the particular transaction or the case. So
so
I would
if I'm
say,
not, yes,
yeah,
yes,
please
please
go ahead.
continue. Hello?
Yeah,
Yeah, so in this case, suppose they do an articleship for the first year and an industrial training in the second year. So will they get industrial training in your profile? Do they get?
yeah, yes. Basically, what we do is that we take that industrial training into our own team, and we make them come to the officers with us. We also take them along with us in case we go out for meetings. However, during these meetings, they are not allowed to speak, because they are just at the learning stage. But at least we take them along with us, so that they learn what we do, what we speak, how to convert the lead to the client, and what solutions we can give to them, so they'll get a real world experience. So that is what
That's
we look at.
really great of you all. And can we have a pool, or do you already have a pool of such people who can take such interns? Because maybe we have a lot of interns who might be inclined to this stream. So they can approach you, right? Or we can have a
Yeah,
pool and which we can make available to them for internship for their industrial training.
then I'll collate a list of that, and I'll share with you.
Yes, yes, that's really great. That's really great and
Yeah,
kind of you.
thanks.
All right. So thank you so much, Sagar. and your session was very insightful. I absolutely loved the idea and your generosity that you're ready to accept new articles and new interns into your field, giving them that exposure, the practical exposure that they might get post qualifying
Correct.
in the industrial training itself. So super. And moving on to Krish. Uh, so we have Krish who is currently pursuing industrial training, right, Krish? And he has done his articleship from a mid-sized firm and is now pursuing his industrial training. So we'd like to hear it from the horse's mouth what industrial training is all about, how it is, how challenging it is, what are the working hours, what sort of work you're learning, and how your articleship experience helped you to secure the industrial training. So yeah, moving on to you, Krish.
Yes. Thank you so much, Bhavik bhai. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
So,
First
Krish,
of all,
just a moment.
yeah.
Bhavik, if you allow me, I would just like to highlight to the participants that Krish is also, at a Vikasa, at a very good level at Students Committee of Vikasa. So I would also request Krish to, share your inputs and insights about that also, so that the students can take up that route also, and they'll, learn much more, many things.
Yes, sure, Sagar bhai. First of all, I would like to thank BCAF for organizing such a wonderful program. Actually, this kind of programs help us to network with people. And while starting off my articleship, I was not very clear कि मुझे जाना कहाँ है. But एक चीज which was I was clear was कि मेरे को कहाँ नहीं जाना, that I was sure. So I joined a mid-sized firm, ERA Associates. There I got an exposure of audit. And as Meera ma'am mentioned, that audit है ना ऐसी चीज है कि if you are well versed with it, आप कुछ भी फील्ड में जा सकती हो, कोई भी फील्ड में. जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल ऑडिट में एक स्टेप है वेरिएंस एनालिसिस करके. सो इफ मुझे पता है व्हाट इज वेरिएंस एनालिसिस, तो दिस इज द कोर थिंग जो वैल्यूएशंस में स्टार्ट होता है. नाउ व्हाट इज वैल्यूएशंस? सो वैल्यूएशंस इज जस्ट कि अगर आज एक कंपनी है तो उसका आज के दिन पे कितना वर्थ है. एंड वो वर्थ कैसे आता है? आई एम श्योर सब लोग इंटर पास करके आए या जस्ट रिसेंटली इंटर के लिए अप्लाई किया हुआ है. तो उसमें डू यू गाइस नो कि हम कैश फ्लोज डिस्काउंट करते हैं. तो कैश फ्लो डिस्काउंट करते वो तो हमारे थियोरेटिकली है, बट वो कैश फ्लोज प्रिडिक्ट कैसे करते हैं? तो उसका मेन स्टेप इज वेरिएंस एनालिसिस. आर यू गाइस गेटिंग इट? तो ये सब कुछ जो भी है तो वो ऑडिट से ही स्टार्ट होता है. So, as my experience, I think that if someone is not very clear कि मुझे करना क्या है आगे जाके, so audit is the best part, जिसमें somewhat compliance cover हो जाता है, somewhat tax cover हो जाता है, and बाकी reporting requirements अगर if you are going for Ind AS का तुम्हारा client है, तो वो as a final का मतलब I would say 60-40% जो भी ratio है कि 60% थियोरेटिकल अप्रोच है एंड 40% प्रैक्टिकल अप्रोच है. तो एक पूरा जो फाइनेंशियल रिपोर्टिंग का सब्जेक्ट है 100 मार्क्स का, वो तुम्हारा आराम से कवर हो जाएगा इन टर्म्स ऑफ ऑडिट. एंड आफ्टर दैट एंड वन मोर थिंग, एक्चुअली आजकल जो मार्केट में इशू, यू नो व्हाट इज द इशू? इशू इज कि नाउ द आर्टिकलशिप हैज बीन रिस्ट्रिक्टेड टू 2 years, राइट? So इस 2 years में what is the issue ना कि जो partners है ना, they don't allow students to go for industrial training. And I think it is fair on their part also कि एक साल हम train करेंगे articles को, and at the end of the 1 year when the thing is कि वो articles output देना start करे, they start going for industrial training. So main first thing is when you are joining a firm, make sure कि वो लोग industrial training allow करते हैं. This is the first part. And second part is what is difference between industrial training and a CA firm. First of all, CA firms में जो environment रहता है, that is a kind of, I would say कि सब तुम्हारे एज के लोग होंगे, तुम्हारे राइट साइड कोई आर्टिकल बैठता है, लेफ्ट साइड कोई आर्टिकल बैठता है, तुम लोग आई थिंक आप सब एक जोन में रहेंगे जहां पर यू विल बी वेल वर्स्ड विद दैट एनवायरमेंट. बट व्हेन आई शिफ्टेड फ्रॉम अ CA firm to industrial training, the difference was of the environment. Now I think in my team I am the youngest one. मतलब पूरे office में there the youngest one is me. So this is a great issue there. I think मतलब this is the only issue there. And in terms of working hours, I feel that industry is much more sorted in terms industry. I know that Bhavik Bhai and Meera ma'am are also in a part of industry, but CA firm. But this is what my experience is. And other than this, the thing is that how to end up going into an industry. So main and the foremost part is you should start networking with the people. So how can you network with the people? Say, for example, we have an event of BCAF yearly, that is a felicitation of the CAs. There you can connect with all the chartered accountants in the industries. You can connect with the fellow CAs who have just recently qualified. And the best part is it is free for students. So we are fortunate enough to have such a great team of people who are organizing such events. And secondly, currently I am in working in a merchant banking firm. They are into valuations as well. But the major part there is कि say for example, I don't get things to lead. And the difference here is that अगर मैं आज एक CA firm में होता जिसमें मैंने मेरा फर्स्ट ईयर ऑफ आर्टिकलशिप कंप्लीट किया तो मे बी थिंग वाज कि आफ्टर कंप्लीटिंग 1 ईयर मेरे को पूरा पूरा एक क्लाइंट मिल जाता. Are you guys getting it? CA firm में ऐसा होता है कि second year they deem that you are a qualified chartered accountant and you get a responsibility, leadership skills and all. But in industry you don't get such things to lead because I think which you are pursuing second year of articleship, but for them you are still in the first year of their joining part of them. So there the thing is कि मतलब you won't get much exposures to it in terms of leading. But as Sagar Bhai mentioned, that when they go for meeting, as Sagar Bhai mentioned, जब तुम meeting वगैरह के लिए जाते हो, so they take them with you. So this is a good part कि तुम लोग को जो industry conversation से you get a chance to exposure, you get a chance to experience that such parts. Recently I had gone to a Grow. Are you guys all aware that Grow का एक IPO आ रहा है? So there was an investors meet जहाँ पर I got a chance to attend it. So this is all the difference between, I would say, a industry and a CA firm. And going forward, ICI is also coming up with a rule. I think Jan attempt is after the Jan attempt, this will be applicable, that you guys can go for industrial training very well before your articleship. That is, you can complete 2 years of industrial training. But there are some rules to it that the company should have at least 50 crores ka turnover. There is something I'm sure that I'll share it with Bhavik Bhai and he will post it in the group. So yeah, if you are guys are not aware कि कहाँ से start करना है, so my reference will be कि choose a firm जिसका audit में बहुत अच्छा exposure है, because on observing current trend, the market is going towards specialization instead of generalization. पहले it was the thing कि students wanted कि मेरे को ये भी सीखना है, वो भी सीखना है, ये भी सीखना है. But as going forward, people are more focusing on specialization. As हमने भी notice किया होगा कि पहले CA final में we had costing and law as a part of written papers. But now things have been shifted to SPOM and major focuses is on audit, financial reporting and advanced financial management. So observing the trend, things are moving towards specialization. So I would say suggestion would be go for a firm. If you are guys are पहले से sorted कि मुझे tax में जाना है, तो there is no option. You can go for tax in 1 year of articleship under any CA. And it's not that कि अगर मैं investment banking कर रहा हूँ, valuations कर रहा हूँ या due diligence कर रहा हूँ तो ही I can shift to industry. There are variable opportunities. जैसे Parimal Finance is the one who takes for industrial trainees in tax domain or in CST domain. So it is the part that do whatever you like. And if you are not sure मुझे क्या करना है, this is the time to explore guys. आज ये तो 2 साल है वो तुम्हारे लिए, तो हम सबके लिए एक्चुअली इट्स द थिंग कि हम कितना एक्सप्लोर कर पा रहे हैं उसमें. वंस वी क्वालिफाई, उसके बाद जो एक बैंडविड्थ है टू एक्सप्लोर थिंग्स गेट्स रिस्ट्रिक्टेड. बट उसके पहले जैसे आर्टिकलशिप में यू गेट अ चांस कि मैंने फर्स्ट ईयर जैसे आई टोल्ड कि मैंने ऑडिट में किया है, आफ्टर दैट आई कंप्लीटली शिफ्टेड इनटू मर्चेंट बैंकिंग. सो ये स्कोप था मेरे पास. अगर आज कोई फर्स्ट ईयर में जीएसटी कर रहा है तो इट्स नॉट दैट कि वो ऑडिट में नहीं जा सकता. he can completely shift. But after qualifying, after 2-3 years of experience qualify होने के बाद, it is very difficult to shift to any other level. I think Sagar Bhai and Bhavik Bhai will also agree with me. So this is the part that, and main part is choose a firm जो तुम लोग को बाकी चीजों एक्सप्लोर करने के लिए चांस देते हैं. Recently, as Sagar Bhai mentioned that I am into Vikasa, we received such a lot of complaints that a partner is not allowing us to go for industrial training. And this is not something wrong. These are fundamental rules. Is that the fundamental rule of ICI is that 1 year of articleship. After that, you can guys go for industrial training as well. So again, I'll mention that one thing, that choose a firm जो तुम लोग को बहुत सारी चीजें एक्सप्लोर करने का चांस दे. Not in terms of industrial training. If you are within a firm, at least try to explore two domains. अभी जैसे after qualifying inter, we are not aware कि हमको जाना क्या है. We just have a theoretical knowledge, and based on that, I don't think we are in a situation to choose कि my 30 years of career or 40 years of career I'll end up making in tax or in audit or in XYZ zone. So just a thing, just explore as much things as you can, and I think every mistake will give you some learning and it will not go waste. So I think I'm open for questions. Any question?
Again, I only have a question. I think actually the students are a little bit finding it little reluctant to question, and they are just trying to gather whatever we are giving. Here, you just said that maybe from Jan attempt onwards, they are coming up with a change that you can take up industrial training right from the beginning.
Yes,
Right?
ma'am.
But till then, as you rightly said, most of the firms are reluctant to allow you for industrial training since it is just a 2-year articleship now. So,
Fair enough.
frankly, even from my side, if I say, the student also will not be in a position to learn everything, because in 1 year hardly you are able to cope up with what you're learning, and you shift to a new thing. So
Got it, ma'am.
at least if I'm still willing to go for industrial training, should a better option be that we go for a smaller firm who are then probably more willing, at least compared to the bigger firm, the smaller firms would allow you to go for industrial training? Or is it not like that?
Actually, ma'am, the situation is little reverse on the other side. The things which we have experienced till now is that the small firms के जो भी partners होते हैं, they are reluctant to provide industrial training to their partners. On the other hand, the firms like Deloitte, KPMG, they have abundant of articles waiting to join Deloitte. So they are very much, I would say, professional towards their approach, that if you guys want to leave, you can go. Just there is some internal requirement of 2-3 months of notice period, and this is the thing which I am aware about.
Oh, that's a real good insight. We had a perspective different from that. I thought probably smaller firms would be in a better position to leave.
Miravan, I have an article from my firm here today in the call.
That's
Who
great.
wants to go for industrial training?
No, you see, practically, even we as a firm, I'm a mid-sized firm partner, we don't prefer, see, in a 3-year articleship, we were still okay with them leaving in the 3rd year. Because in the 1st year, we basically train them, we are investing in them. 2nd year is where they'll return our investment. And then in the 3rd year, probably we are okay to relieve them. But with a 2-year articleship, it becomes very difficult from our end, because the 1st year investment is completely becoming zero. They are not then training the next batch, and when they leave, it suddenly creates a vacuum. So as from the firm point of view, definitely I know as a mid-size, we were not so willing, and we are not so willing to relieve.
So, as Krish mentioned, that firms are not wrong to leave, and that's a different topic altogether. We are today trying to decide how to select the firm. But Krish, with mutual consent before joining the articleship, I think the point is that whomsoever is joining a firm, they should mutually decide and ask at the very start that whether they will be allowed to do it or not, rather than at the end of the year have regrets, अरे अब allow नहीं कर रहे हैं, अब ऐसा हो रहा है. because every firm has their own policies. They too want to run their operations, and it's a for-profit organization that people are running. And it's not that everything can be done at the whims and fancies of people. So, with mutual consent, with mutual agreement at the start of the articleship, people can decide and accordingly choose the firms.
Got it.
At my firm, we used to allow, but from this year I have made this policy that we are not allowing industrial training for the very reason that I myself have uh, new age practices which we are doing here at the firm. I don't see the point of someone from my firm going for an industry training because we do AIF registration, we do valuation, we do due diligence. So if I don't have people to work, I am handling it myself for now. But if there are people who want to learn, I'll definitely pass it on over to them. So that's how it is. So I think that landscape will evolve. Mid-sized small firms will also evolve once they have those opportunities to work. So, but really insightful session. Thank you so much for giving us both the sides of the coin, Meera ma'am, as to
Just to add on, few of the firms, as Meera ma'am mentioned, that small firms are more in support towards providing industrial training to their articles. There were few firms in the market which came up with the policy that if you guys are willing to go for industrial training, you have to return your 1 year ka full stipend.
Oh my God.
So these were the parts because of
I
this.
think those are a few bad apples which are there,
Yeah.
which mark a bad name to all small firms. But as I mentioned, it's all about mutual agreement. So if you are mutually agreeing to those terms and conditions at the start of the article, you have to live with it. If not, then you can choose other firms because you have a choice, right, before you join a firm. And since there is so much information available to people before joining now, you're also a Vikasa head. I think working in the management committee, I think definitely people who have joined here, who are participants, can contact you to understand the real world scenarios rather than us discussing on a call today, which will be open in the public domain to view and to see. Right. So, all right. Thank you so much for that, Krish. And we'll move on to the next speaker and the next session. So, we have Urmi for the next session. So, CA Urmi Joyshar, she worked in a mid-sized firm, then joined in audit. Today, she's an audit manager in Deloitte. And Urmi will share her experience as to how it is like working in Deloitte in a Big Four environment. What are the challenges? What are the opportunities? How her articleship experience helped her to reach here, and what she has learned differently while working in a corporate. Thanks, Urmi. Over to you.
Hello everyone, thank you Bhavik Bhai. So I'm CA Urmi Joycer. I qualified in November 23 and I work in Deloitte in the domain of stat audit since 1.5 years now. So happy to be here and even happier to be sharing such an insightful session on how it is like moving from a mid-sized firm to a big four, because we all know that as a CA students, we have all had that debate or a discussion once that what is better, is big four better or is mid-sized firm better. So really happy to share my experience on this. So I started my articleship in a mid-sized firm, and if I had to describe that experience in just one line, I would say that you do everything, like literally everything you get to do. One day you're doing stat audit, the next day you're filing a tax return, and the next day you're helping a client file something that you yourself even didn't know existed till that morning. So basically you get to do literally everything, but that's the beauty of it, that you get hands-on exposure. You're not just a small part of a process, you see the full picture. So like Meera Bain said and Krish also mentioned that in second year of articleship, so they treat you as if you are a qualified CA, and now the junior articles will come and you will only teach them. So that's what was with me. And it really helped me understand acts, because my principal used to tell me, ye karna hai, this is that, go home, study, and apply. And then, of course, then he used to review. So for my CA finals, I never joined any classes for anything, not even a single subject, because I understood that I'm very good with reading acts and understanding acts and applying those acts in real life. So I thought, okay, studies are not required for me. I'll just study everything by myself. But this I understood because I got to do this in my real life, and because it was a mid-sized firm, so we had a very small team and very few of us, and we only had to figure things out because we can't go to our principal and ask literally everything, right? So it really helped me set a foundation and really helped me understand something that I was good at, and I'll always be grateful for working in a mid-sized firm because I understood something about that myself. And of course, it comes with its own set of pros and cons. Like you have a very, because the teams are smaller, you have a very few people to fall back on, and you get to do things by yourself, and then you are executing, you're reading stuff, you're executing stuff, and so things like that were there. And then I joined Big Four. So Big Four is a different universe in itself. It has its own hierarchies and workflows and own templates. And then I remember in my first week of working in a Big Four after I qualified, I saw the amount of mails I did not see in my whole 3 years of articleship. So I was like, okay, this is a lot. And I was working in MNCs, and I started talking to CEOs, CFOs, and I started giving reviews to, because I'm an assistant manager. So I have my deputy manager, and then he has associate director, and then director and partners. So I understood the hierarchies and how things are done in a big setup, like where you're working, where you have clients with millions and billions of turnovers, and everything suddenly had a process. There were templates and workflows and trackers and a lot of mails and process of doing things. So I understood that. So yeah, for me, the Big Four was, of course, it was different, but it also shaped me in a way that I did not know existed. So, all of us have this question, okay, what is better? Is Big Four better? Is mid-size better? So if you're an article right now, and if you are, wondering what is better, a mid-size firm or a Big Four firm, my honest answer would be, it's not about where you are actually, it's about how you learn, because learning is very important. And learning is there in mid-size firm also, and it is there in Big Fours also. But it depends on how is your attitude and how you are willing to learn. Like wherever you are, just try and squeeze every drop of learning that you can. Be very curious. Ask a lot of questions to your seniors, be it in a mid-size firm or in a Big Four. Like always try and ask questions. Just don't do the work that you are assigned to do. Just go and ask for more work, and never really limit yourself to the work that you're actually given. Every voucher that you vouch, or every return you file, or every audit that you close, or every schedule that you're preparing, it's building your understanding of how the business is actually run. And isn't that what it's all about, that you're trying to understand? Like Krish also said, and Bhavik Bhai also said, that audit is something where you actually get to understand how businesses actually work, and that you can understand literally anywhere, in mid-size firm also and in Big Fours also. But it's like how is your approach, how much you're willing to learn. And trust me with this, that the habits that you build in your articleship, they stay. Because I remember I am like this only in my mid-size firm also, in my Big Fours also. I always ask questions. Like I always ask my seniors why this is done, how this is done, why are we doing this. Like if someone has told me you have to do this, so I will know I have to do this, and I'll do this like this. But why will I do this? I always try and ask my seniors this question, that why am I doing this, what is the purpose of this, how it is actually done. you know like I taking accountability. I understood time management. So time management in mid-size firm also, and Big Fours also, like it's very important that how you're managing your time, you're giving your work at a set deadline standards. And so yeah, this is something that you can learn in a Big Four also and in a mid-size firm also. So I think it's all about the attitude, how you are conceiving the work, how you're doing the work, and not just for the sake of doing it. So yeah, that's my experience and my say on this. I'm open to questions. Any questions, anyone? Am I audible?
Yes, Urmi, you're audible.
Hello. Yeah.
आज हमारे साथ बहुत शर्मीले बच्चे ज्वाइन हुए जिनको सिर्फ सुनना है, सवाल नहीं पूछने. Even though you are saying you should be very curious and you should ask questions, and we have a gamut and a very esteemed panel here today, but उनको नहीं पूछना है तो ठीक है.
नहीं, मैं एक्चुअली क्या ना, frankly, if we try to understand their perspective, they are in a position जो मुझे नहीं लगता बहुत सारे लोगों को ऑलरेडी मालूम है कि क्या
हाँ.
है. तो इट इज लाइक जितना इन्फॉर्मेशन कलेक्ट कर ले, मे बी शायद क्वेश्चंस उसके बाद आएंगे. सो वन थिंग विच आई वुड लाइक टू ऑफर टू ऑल द पार्टिसिपेंट्स इज, इवन इफ यू ऑल हैव क्वेश्चंस आफ्टर द सेशन, you all can connect with us. Many of us are in connection with you all for registration. We have numbers over there. You can connect with our team and we are happy to help you at any time.
Definitely. Thank you so much for putting it out there.
Urmi, I had a question from the student side.
Yes, Miravi. Okay.
You would be working with interns who were internally, I mean, they were the interns of Deloitte and now they are your colleagues.
Yes.
So, do you find any difference between you and them? Any kind of preference that they get, or do they have an upper edge compared to you working along with you?
Okay. So to answer your question, in the initial months of my working in a Big Four, definitely, because see, तो यहाँ पे कैसा है ना, we have to raise a ticket to, if I want to go to, if I want access, I have to raise a mail, and if so, Deloitte or any Big Four, we have our own set of softwares, to upload data and to collect data from and filling time sheets, and so there are Big Four compliances and Big Four processes that I wasn't aware of. Of course, I knew how to do audit and everything. The knowledge that I and any Big Four article had was the same, but just the difference was because they had done it for 3 years and it was everything was new to me. In the initial months, of course, I did think that there is a difference, that they know the processes better than I do, but that's just a matter of few months. These are just the standard processes that you learn with time. So I don't think I felt a lot of difference that, oh my God, I'm from a mid-size, so what I'm going to do. No, nothing like that. But it's just the processes which were new and the way they work and the, like I said, hierarchy and the, amount of reviews and the way we upload data and the way we raise tickets and get data. And so there are processes which I got to learn, which were new, which I mean, my friend who is Deloitte article and then newly qualified taught me. But that is only difference. Work-wise, I don't think there was a lot of difference. I think I catched up with time.
Urmi, basically, what you are trying to say is you had a lot of checks and balances for everything you do, for even a small mail to getting a data. There are a lot of checks and balances which were there. Whereas when you were in a small firm, you could directly approach people कि अरे ये data दे दे और ये mail भेज
Yes.
right? That's the whole
Exactly.
difference. So the packaging is different, but the things are the same.
Yeah, and maybe
And I think I
if
was
I
talking
can add
to.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Urmi. Go ahead. I'll add after you.
Yeah, Urmi.
I mean, I was talking to Karthik the other day and he asked me, okay, in Big Four, so you all have to ask permission before mailing somebody. I was like, no, it's not that strict also that before every mail No, he asked me that your articles ask you before sending every mail or what. I was like, no, it's not that strict also. They can mail, but initially in their initial months, we try and see their mails because we are speaking to MNCs and listed companies. So if there is
Trust.
something...
After you build that trust, you allow them.
Yeah. So it's not that also, but we try and see that one review is done before articles do something or before very freshly qualified does something.
You have to maintain your brand and the communication guidelines.
Yes.
Mukesh, you had some addition.
Yeah. I just wanted to add here that if you are clear and if you want to jump to Big Four, right, it is always good to start there because, as Urmi said, you would need to otherwise spend maybe an year or two to catch up because the confidence what they would carry, right? Because that's how they have learned for 2-3 years and then they join as an associate in the same firm. So it takes a time for you to catch up. So if you always want to go to the Big Four, and even if you're not getting an opportunity in Big Four for articleship, at least try to go to tier 2 firm or maybe tier 3 firm. That would help you to ease your path to settle down in Big Four quickly. That would be my bit of advice. Thanks.
Yeah, and I would just like to add over here, add rightly, Mukesh bhai said that's what even I was going to add, that definitely in terms of knowledge, See, many a times what we have observed is interns are just passionate, हमको तो Big Four ही चाहिए. So it's not like before नहीं मिला तो दुनिया खत्म हो जाएगी, because the knowledge that you get at a mid-size or a small firm is definitely equally good. But yes, the polishing that you get in a Big Four does matter. So if your goal is to join an MNC later or get into the industry side, or bigger firms, move abroad, Big Four are a very good choice. But if you don't get them, the world doesn't end. Moreover, I would put in over here that we have our own Bhanushali people who are at director level, partner level, and many such senior position in most of the Big Fours. And they are more than happy to help you all get into the Big Four for articleship. So if you all have any such plans to get into internship in a Big Four, you all can approach us and we'll help you direct there to those seniors. They can at least arrange an interview. Thereafter, cracking that interview will definitely be your challenge and your, I would say, aptitude. But they can help you to that extent that they can arrange an interview for you in the Big Four for your internship. So do grab that opportunity. Again, as I told you, we have our team who is connected with you at different modes. Connect with them and we'll place you to the right people who can help you out. Yes, Bhavik, back to you. And I hope I was audible. I'm not sure, there was no reaction.
Yes,
you're
Meera,
audible.
when you were
You are
audible.
Okay, okay. So Bhavik, I think we lost Bhavik for a couple of seconds due to technicality. I see him back, so he'll take over.
Yes. All right. So thank you so much, Urmi, Mirabin, for providing your valuable suggestions and knowledge. And we'll move on to you again, because Karthik as a speaker is not here today because he's stuck somewhere and he's also not feeling well. So his session will be handled by Mirabin. And Karthik was about to discuss how his journey in a mid-sized firm helped him to currently Karthik is working in investment banking, by the way. So he did his articleship with RC Jain and Company, which is under the tutelage of C. Meera Joshi. So let's hear it from Karthik's teacher as to what and how it helped him. So over to you.
I would have loved if Karthik only takes it up. I just got his notes presently to see what he was to cover, and he's covered it so fantastically. I really don't know how much I will be able to cover up from his side, because he has shared a lot of his insight in his notes that he's prepared, wherein he would have covered what best he could collect from the 3-year internship process out over here. I don't know how much I'll be able to justify his side, but I'll just put up how mid-size can bridge the gap. Here, see, basically, as Mukesh Bhai also said, the small firm equally has good opportunities, because the presumption which most of the people have कि छोटे फॉर्म में जाके हम अपने आप हम क्या ही सीखेंगे, हमको तो कुछ नहीं, सिर्फ 4 रिटर्न्स फाइल करना सीखेंगे, ऐसा नहीं है. The smaller firms have audits, they have taxation, they have litigation. In fact, small firm में जैसे उर्मी ने भी बोला कि smaller firm में आपको नहीं मालूम है आप रोज क्या करने वाले हो. Every day is a challenge for you. In the right 3 years, 365 into 3, that is more than 1,000 days, you are learning something new every single day. So definitely that gives you a very good edge. What you miss on when you are in a smaller firm, to some extent, is जैसे Urmi said कि once she entered the Big Four, there were a lot of checks and balances, there were a lot of mail system, the professional, वो जो approach है पैकेजिंग का, वो पैकेजिंग का एक डिफरेंस है जो शायद स्मॉलर फॉर्म में हम मिस कर जाते हैं. And that is not a bad thing to miss, but at the same time, the mid-sized firms like ours, जैसे हम बोलते हैं कि they somewhere or the other bridge the gap. आपके पास equal opportunity to have a 360-degree view. I would not say 360, we can reach to maybe 250 to 300 degree, because unlike small firm, हम article को एवरी सिंगल एरिया में ट्रेन नहीं कर पाते हैं, फॉर द रीजन कि इवन द मिड साइज फर्म्स लाइक आवर्स हैव डिपार्टमेंटलाइजेशंस, एंड out of the 2 years that you spend here, if the firm is I mean they are flexible. For example, we are flexible to an extent that we allow that intern to change their team in the second year, or maybe after say 15 months or so. In the last 9 months we allow them to go to another team, and within the 15 months what we do is that once you finish your work and you have time spare with you, you can learn anything that is there in the organization. But work is there, you are tied up, so I would not say you will be able to definitely learn everything, but yes, we can give you a mixed balance between the smaller firm का जो packaging miss out होता है. So we have checks and balances, that kind of levels, that kind of SOPs that are set up, the systems, the packages that we use. We can't touch the big fours, but we can give you a glimpse of it. So we, when I'm talking of we, it's not RCJ and Associates. When I'm talking of we, it is all the mid-sized firms, the tier 2, tier 3 firms which Mukesh Bhai was talking about. So that is the level that you can go to. So important is, first, I would say, rather than considering whether what size of firm you're going to, decide what you want to do in future. Suppose your future is not decided. आपको स्पेशलाइजेशन में, जैसे मैंने बोला, सी मेनी ऑफ द स्टूडेंट, जैसे आई गिव यू द कंपैरिजन बिटवीन द स्कूल, कॉलेज एंड द मास्टर्स, देयर आर मेनी स्टूडेंट्स who right from 11th standard get into a specialization zone because they are very clear कि मुझे यही करना है. अगर वो काइंड ऑफ क्लैरिटी है, गो टू अ नाइस वेरी बिग फर्म, गो टू अ बिग फोर जिसमें आप एक स्पेसिफिक जोन में स्पेशलाइजेशन कर पाओगे. उस जगह पे कंपटीशन भी हाई है, अग्रीड. सो यू नीड टू हैव दैट अपर एज कि आप जहां भी जाना चाह रहे हो ना, यू शुड बी द बेस्ट ऑफ इट. आपके लिए उसको होमवर्क करना पड़ेगा. व्हेन यू अप्रोच फॉर एन आर्टिकलशिप टू सच काइंड ऑफ ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, you have to do homework as to meet people in that zone, understand what are the expectations. You upskill yourself to an extent कि आप इंटरव्यू में उनको वो कन्विंस कर पाओगे, this is what I want to do and this is and I deserve the seat that you have to offer. अगर वो काइंड ऑफ लेवल आपका है तो आप बिग फोर में डेफिनेटली ट्राई करो. अगर आप कंफ्यूज्ड हो कि मुझे क्या करना है, गो फॉर अ मिड साइज और अ स्मॉलर फर्म. अगर आपको ऐसा लगता है कि मुझे क्लासेस फुल एंड फुल अटेंड करना है, मुझे पढ़ने के लिए भी रोज का रोज उतना टाइम चाहिए, आई वांट टू बी लिटिल रिलैक्स, इफ दैट इज द काइंड ऑफ एटीट्यूड यू हैव, ट्राई फॉर अ स्मॉलर फर्म. बिकॉज वहां पे आपके कंपेरेटिवली वर्किंग आवर्स थोड़े कम होंगे, रिजिड नहीं होंगे, दे विल बी फ्लेक्सिबल विद थिंग्स. ऑफ पीक के टाइम पे आपको बहुत सारे वेवर्स मिलेंगे विद रिस्पेक्ट टू टाइम. सो दैट कैन बी एन एडिशनल एडवांटेज टू यू व्हेन यू आर स्टडीइंग. आज जब आप पढ़ रहे हो, आपका फर्स्ट प्रायोरिटी इज फाइनल क्लियर करना. आज आपको सीखना है, इंटर्नशिप में आप जो बेस्ट सीख सकते हो सीखो, बट नॉट एट द कॉस्ट ऑफ योर डिग्री, राइट. तो खुद को समझो, आप क्या करना चाहते हो, आगे चल के प्रैक्टिस में जाना है या यू आर वेरी श्योर कि मैं इंडस्ट्री में ही जाऊंगा. इफ इट इज इंडस्ट्री देन इंडस्ट्रियल ट्रेनिंग इज द बेस्ट. बिग फोर इज वेरी गुड अबाउट इट. इफ यू आर अनश्योर then the mid-size and smaller firms. If your body does not support extreme traveling, they don't support extreme working hours, then go for a smaller firm. Don't even go for a mid-size firm. And please believe me, going to a smaller firm is not a bad decision. It is an equally good decision क्योंकि आपको अच्छा खासा सीखने मिलता है. Just that you'll have time for other activities ना. आपको अभी जैसे मुझे फॉर एग्जाम्पल विकासा सब में भी जाना है, इफ आई एम ऑक्यूपाइड विथ वर्क फुल टाइम तो उतना टाइम ही नहीं मिलेगा कि आप और कुछ कर सको. सो योर प्रायोरिटीज आर द डिसीजन फैक्टर फॉर गेटिंग इन. अब जैसे क्रिश, मुझे मतलब व्हाट आई रेड थ्रू हिज नोट्स, ही वाज लाइक ही वाज अनडिसाइसिव कि क्या करना है, बट एक चीज था कि ही वांटेड अ टेस्ट ऑफ एवरीथिंग टू अंडरस्टैंड कि व्हाट इज दैट एरिया दैट इज गोइंग टू अपील हिम. सो ही जॉइंड ओवर हियर. हैविंग जॉइंड, जो टीम में ज्वाइन किया, ही वाज लाइक कि मैं 2 साल के बाद इंडस्ट्रियल ट्रेनिंग जाऊंगा. मे बी इन हिज फॉर्म, वी जनरली हैव फॉर्म्स वेर इन वी टेक अ डिक्लेरेशन राइट एट डे 1 कि आपको इंडस्ट्रियल ट्रेनिंग जाना है कि नहीं जाना है, सो दैट द टीम हु इज एम्प्लॉइंग यू क्लियरली नोज कि आप उनके साथ कितने टाइम रहोगे. अब उसने शायद टिक भी किया था कि आई विल गो फॉर इंडस्ट्रियल ट्रेनिंग, बट देन हैविंग सीन कि यहाँ पे जो उसको एक्सपोजर मिल रहा है, ही he did not even change his team. उस केस पे तो हम लोग, जैसे मैंने बोला, 15 months के बाद हम दूसरे टीम में जाने का अपॉर्चुनिटी देते हैं. आई थिंक द एंटायर 3 years he spent with single team, because उस टीम में उसको इतना अच्छा अपॉर्चुनिटी मिला कि he said I don't want to go for the change. So with the change of the situation, आपको खुद लगेगा कि मैंने जो डिसीजन डे 1 पे लिया था वो डिसीजन शायद मुझे चेंज करने की जरूरत है. इट्स एब्सोल्युटली फाइन टू चेंज दैट डिसीजन. ऐसा नहीं कि मैंने आज ये बोला है तो मुझे यही करना पड़ेगा. आपको लेटर ऑन, जैसे अभी कृष्ण ने बोला कि बहुत सारी फर्म्स, हम खुद भी पहले ही बोल देते कि अगर इंडस्ट्रियल ट्रेनिंग है और अगर टीम हेड बोलता है कि मुझे वैसा बच्चा नहीं चाहिए तो वो नहीं लेते. आपने पहले मना किया, बट लेटर ऑन यू फेल्ट कि मेरा सिचुएशन ऐसा चेंज हुआ है कि मुझे इंडस्ट्रियल ट्रेनिंग जाना ज्यादा बेनिफिशियल होगा. Try to convince your team head, try to convince your HODs and whoever is there in the hierarchy कि this is the reason why I need a change, and मेरा जो काम है, जो return of investment, I need to train someone who can be a helping hand to you instead of me. वो आप अगर secure कर लेते हो तो even after you have said no at the beginning, I don't think HOD will be that rigid कि हम नहीं ही जाने देंगे. इट इज अप टू यू कि आप अपना काम कितना सिंसियरली कर लेते हो. आई रिमेंबर ऑफ कार्तिक, he's been like he's not directly been under my team. It was another chartered accountant, my colleague, under whom he's been trained. I was like that team head of mine. She said I would definitely would not want to let him go even after articleship. That is the kind of support he's been to the team. उसको सिर्फ काम बता दिया and he used to do it. So that kind of confidence if that HOD has, definitely अगर वो जाके अप्रोच करता ना सेकेंड ईयर में कि मुझे अभी इंडस्ट्रियल ट्रेनिंग जाना है, आई एम श्योर शी वुड हैव हैप्पीली लेट हिम गो, बिकॉज वी ऑल्सो सी योर एज एस्पायरेंट्स कि आपको आपका फ्यूचर बनाना है. At that point, we are not going to stop your progress, but you have to be that sincere. आप बोलोगे ड्यूरिंग लर्निंग टाइम्स आप हर दिन कोई नया एक्सक्यूज दे रहे हो, एंड में आके भी बस मुझे तो यही करना है, आप क्या करोगे मुझे पता नहीं. इफ दैट इज द एटीट्यूड दैट यू फॉलो, यू नॉट बी इन गुड बुक्स ऑफ द फर्म. आपको आगे जहां जाना है वहां पे आपको रेफरेंस लगता है. द हायर यू वांट टू गो, दे हैव अ रेफरेंस चेक, और वो रेफरेंस चेक अगर आपका क्लियर नहीं होता है, दे विल नॉट एम्प्लॉय यू. सो नेवर बर्न योर ब्रिजेस व्हाइल यू आर लिविंग. आप कहीं से भी छोड़ रहे हो, डोंट से कि जब वो जान दो, मेरा टाइम यहाँ खत्म हो गया, अब तुम जानो तुमको क्या करना है. दे आर गोइंग टू ऑलवेज बी विथ यू फॉर द रेस्ट ऑफ योर लाइफ. आपको बहुत सारे जगह पे जब करियर रेफरेंसेस लेंगे, मेनी अ टाइम्स you are working with a client where you bump into the very same firm, or you have some kind of places where you cross your roads. So ensure कि आप small firm लो, mid size लो या big लो, आपका sincerity, आपका output should be very good, and then definitely आप आगे चल के जो change भी करना चाहोगे, they'll be equally supportive to you. Bhavik, I will just ask you that even you can add certain points probably which I would have missed out.
Thank you for that opportunity. So I just want to take few pieces from Karthik's book, which I liked a lot. So I wish he was here speaking those himself. So as you spoke, Miraji, that never burn your bridges, convince your managers if they're not allowing to do or not. All of these are basically part of perception and expectation management, which is very important to learn. For a moment, if every participant today here can forget that they are a CA article, yeah, they are about to do articleship, just think yourself from a point of view of an individual who is joining somewhere to work. You should know how to talk to people. You should know how to convince people. You should know how to convince your clients, convince your managers, talk to them in a way to get your stuff done, but also not. So try to look for win-win situations. That is what Meera ma'am was trying to drill down or generalize. So try to look for win-win situations. And as I was saying, everything today available can be done by AI. Even if you don't know stuff, you can still be confident as hell because AI ने generate किया है और एकदम confident tone में generate होता है. So फिर articleship क्यों करनी है? At the end of it, इसलिए करनी है because you are not here to learn information in any CA firm, because information they can now extract through AI and tools and stuff, get work also done through AI. There are AI agents who will do the work also now for a fraction of a cost. But people need people to work with. People need people who they can rely on, who they can depend on. And that is what, as an article, you bring on the table. You bring dependability and reliability. At the same time, you have expectations that you will learn and gain exposure, which your partner should provide. At the same time, there are a few core principles, few thumb rules that you should have in mind. The first one being, let's say you don't know stuff and someone gives you work to do. Your first response should not be, अरे मुझे नहीं आता है, मैं कैसे करूँगा? Your first response, which will come after evolving with time and with responsibilities and as you mature, should be, ठीक है, जो भी है मैं देख लूँगा. I'll see how I can do it. I think that response will be vastly appreciated by all your partners. ठीक है, जो भी है, I'll see, मैं देखता हूँ. Second being, let's say something negative happens, you hear a mouthful from your partner, or you hear something from your employees or colleagues, then your first response should not be, अरे ये तो ऐसा ही है, ऐसे ही होता है क्या, चलता है क्या. It should rather be, होता होगा. Let's speak to the relevant authority to know. So these are a few people, skills, or key core principles that you should have in mind. Apart from this, what Karthik had mentioned was, no work is small, which I also agree. Don't think that if you're printing papers and scanning papers, this is not important, or filing stuff is not important. Everything is important in its own space. I know people who have done articleship in firms but don't know how to arrange a tax file, a tax litigation file in the correct order, or arrange a audit file in the correct order. And even after having technical skills, those people get kicked out of the interview because उनको basic skills नहीं आते. Stapler करना नहीं आता, उल्टा stapler मार रहे हो पेपर पे. Instead of a slant stapler, you're doing it the other way around. उतने उतने minute points पे partners ने reject किया है कि नहीं, ये this is not the right candidates. So उस level का detail required होता है काम करने में. How to staple, how to write, how to take notes, prepare memos, how to prepare reports, how to even maintain that, how to do file management, digital file management, कि वो folder कैसे manage करना है, कैसे rename करना है, वो भी importance रखता है in your career. तो इतनी इतनी छोटी चीजें भी important है. So no work is small, and never say no to new work. Always take on new jobs, new responsibilities. Be responsible, be accountable for what you're doing, and always look for the silver lining in whatever that you're doing. Even if you're bored, even if you find it monotonous, maybe try to find a silver lining कि शायद ये करके मैं ऐसे काम जल्दी कर पाऊंगा, right? Because you never know, क्या पता आपको यही काम करना पड़े आगे क्वालिफाई होके, who knows. Value your team, and definitely if you respect that firm's culture and that firm rules regulation, they'll also appreciate your requirements, your expectations of time, classes, etc., etc., and they'll provide that to you. Just to over generalize things, if you want to go for practice, if you want to get white hair at a very young age like us here today, you should take on as much responsibilities as you can in your articleship. Join a firm where it is chaotic to work, where it is absolute chaos. Clients are calling you left and right, partners giving you work left and right, because in chaos you will learn a lot in a short period, because now articleship is for 2 years. From personal experience, I did my articleship in a small firm. It was a 3-year articleship. I did it in litigation all the 3 years. In fact, in my second year, I was handling a multi-billion-dollar client, because that's how it was. It was very stressful, but it was very interesting, because interesting things don't come without stress. They'll come with stress, they'll come with anxiety, they'll come with deadlines. कि ये आज दिया है कल करना है, या आज दिया है 2 दिन में करना है. So you can't have it both ways. या तो बहुत सीखूंगा तो स्ट्रेस नहीं रहेगा, ऐसे नहीं, बहुत सीखूंगा तो होगा, स्ट्रेस भी होगा. You need to manage that stress in a correct manner, for which I think Krish in Vikasa would be holding a lot of sessions to how to handle stress, how to do work-life balance and stuff. On work-life balance, I think there is no work-life balance in life. ऐसा मुझे लगता है. When you say work-life balance, तो वो 10 से 9 to 5 और 5 के बाद फोन बंद कर दूंगा, that is not work-life balance. Work-life balance is all about building bridges. कि अब मेरी लाइफ, ऑफिस वाली लाइफ से मैं निकल के जा रहा हूँ घर वाली लाइफ पे, ब्रिज कनेक्टेड होता है. हाँ, कभी घर पे भी कॉल आता है ऑफिस का, कभी ऑफिस में घर के भी कॉल्स आते हो जो लेते हो, काम करते हो, कभी कोई बीमार है तो जा चले जाते हो. सो इट इज नॉट अ वेरी स्ट्रिक्ट बाउंड्री कि ये ऐसे ही होगा या फोन बंद कर देना है तो वर्क लाइफ बैलेंस है, सैटरडे काम नहीं करूंगा तो वर्क लाइफ बैलेंस है. वर्क लाइफ बैलेंस इज अ topic that you'll understand once you mature. And if you want to learn a lot, you will have to sacrifice your efforts, your time, give it to that firm, and definitely you learn. And be adaptive, be hardworking, don't say no to jobs, be curious and be humble about it. अगर बहुत सीख लिया है तो ऐसे नहीं कि मुझे सब आता है, because everyone here today will agree that we are still students. Be it Meera ji, be it Mukesh ji, be it Krish, Sagar, we are still learning, we are still students. किसी को भी पैदा होते से इनकम टैक्स नहीं आता था, या किसी को पैदा होते से एएफ क्रिएशन नहीं आता है, एएफ में काम, इन्वेस्टमेंट बैंकिंग नहीं आता है. सो एज एन आर्टिकल ऑल्सो आपको भी नहीं आता होगा, एंड दैट इज अग्रीएबल, दैट इज एक्सेप्टेड कि मुझे नहीं आता है. व्हेन यू गेट सम न्यू वर्क, डोंट से सर मैं तो नया हूँ मुझे नहीं आता है. सबको पता है आप नए हो, आपको नहीं आता है. यू हैव टू से मुझे नहीं आता बट मैं सीखने की पक्की ट्राई करूंगा. और and that's what your attitude should be. And yeah, your articleship is not just a professional phase, it's your life का बहुत important aspect है. but यही life नहीं है, वैसा नहीं है. अगर life का पूरा ग्राफ बनाओगे तो it's a small speck उतना, but उसके ऊपर आगे का पूरा dependent है आपका. And yeah, don't chase perfections. These are all Karthik's point by the way. मैं कार्तिक के points को highlight कर रहा हूँ. Don't chase perfection and chase learning. कहने का मतलब है कि आप इंफॉर्मेशन के पीछे मत भागो. लर्न द स्किल्स, लर्न प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग स्किल्स टू सॉल्व थिंग्स इन लाइफ, बिकॉज एवरीथिंग इज एट द एंड ऑफ द डे अ प्रॉब्लम विच नीड्स टू बी सॉल्व्ड. एंड हैव अ स्ट्रॉन्ग वर्क ethic, be hard work. That's it. I would like to end my 2 cents here. And
I'll just add one. I mean, you just mentioned don't shy away from taking up any kind of job that is offered. I have practically seen Karthik not doing it. I mean, imagine we generally have these team head sessions. I mean, wherein all my chartered accountants, we meet up and we discuss on certain queries that some of them would be having related to their client. And we always want someone who needs to take the minutes of the meeting. So generally the interns used to have a perception कि minutes of the meeting लिखने के लिए हम थोड़ी यहाँ पे आए, right? तो उन लोग का ऐसा था कि ये फालतू चिंदी काम हम लोगों को क्यों दिया जा रहा है, why we have to sit over there just to write the minutes. He was a person who gave the perception to the others. Imagine a room filled with 15 to 18 chartered accountants, 2 company secretaries who are discussing on certain core issue of a client. आप उस डिस्कशन का पार्ट हो. अगर आप मिनट्स लिख रहे हो मतलब आपको उस रूम में बैठना है. यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड एवरीवन. सो यू आर एक्चुअली लिसनिंग टू. एंड ऑल्सो यहाँ पे हम ये रिस्ट्रिक्ट नहीं करते कि वो लोग बोल नहीं सकते. दिस इज अवर इंटरनल मीट, सो दे ऑल्सो हैव अ से इफ दे हैव समथिंग टू स्पीक ऑन. बट अदरवाइज इवन इफ दे डोंट स्पीक, 20 प्रोफेशनल्स सिटिंग इन अ रूम शेयरिंग देयर पर्सपेक्टिव ऑफ लॉ एंड आर्ग्यूइंग ऑन लीगल मैटर्स. You imagine the kind of brainstorming that will be happening and what you can understand and what you can learn over there.
I think articles would die to be in a meeting like that, because this is where osmosis happens and this is where you actually understand कि लोग बात कैसे करते हैं, कैसे पॉइंट रेज करते हैं, क्या चर्चा होती है मीटिंग रूम्स में.
So with every small thing that is offered to you, my point here was that the Karthik's perception, which we really appreciated, कि भाई तुम learn to find opportunities in what you are offered rather than trying to find what bullshit we are doing.
Super, great. So I think with this we are at the end of our time here today, and last but not the least, we open the panel
One,
now.
one last opportunity to all the members if now they want to ask any question.
Just one thing which I would like to put on. See guys, आप कहीं पर भी रहोगे, small size, mid size या big four या industrial training, you will always have a feeling of FOMO, fear of missing out. कि यार मैं तो big four में हूँ, मैं तो एक ही एरिया कर रहा हूँ, mid size वाला ये कर रहा है या वो कर रहा है. So guys, it's very
Grass is
normal.
always greener.
Yes, grass is always greener on the other side. So this is the part. And other thing, the main thing which we need to capitalize from this session is our takeaway should be भाविक भाई हो गए, मीरा मैम है, उर्मी है, मुकेश भाई है, सागर भाई है, इन सबके बहुत अच्छे कॉन्टैक्ट्स है, इंडस्ट्रीज में हो गए, फर्म्स में हो गए. सो एज अ आर्टिकल, एज अ पर्सन लुकिंग फॉर आर्टिकल, आप इन सबको लिंक्डइन पे अप्रोच करो, व्हाट्सएप पे अप्रोच करो, जहां चांस मिले वहां अप्रोच करो एंड लुक फॉर देयर कॉन्टैक्ट्स. So it will be easy for you to approach firms and also get a reference in better firms. So yeah, thank you from my side, and I'd like to hand over to Bhavik Bhai.
Thank you so much, Krish.
Can I add something?
Yeah, please, Urmi.
Like Krish and Bhavik Bhai said कि grass is always greener on the other side, और हम जो नहीं कर रहे होते हमें वही करना आता है. तो that reminded me, बनी कितनी भी कोशिश कर लो, कुछ ना कुछ तो छूटेगा ही. तो जहाँ हो वहीं का optimum utilization कर लो. Like everything, like I said, everything is the best. It's just your approach and how eager you are to learn and how the businesses works, and it's your approach that matters more than where you are actually. So thanks.
Okay, so during the registration of participants, they had submitted various expectations. So if we have permission of everyone, I think I'd like to go through those expectations and ask the participants if these have been met with or if there are things which are still pending. So I think Tanisha, if she is present here today, Tanisha has had a very detailed expectation. So Tanisha, was this session helpful to you? Are your questions answered, or do you need help with those?
Tanisha, I see you attending. I would love to hear you actually. The more we connect together, no, there will be
Is there
many
some
doors
issue
that
with-
can open up.
Is there some issue with muting, unmuting, or something? Can someone look into those things?
Tanisha, you want me to unmute? Is there any issue? You can just drop in a message. नहीं ठीक है, move ahead, no?
Okay, fine. So apart from that, do we have Neil here with us today?
No, Neil, I
Neil is
can't.
not here. Even Pars is not here. Okay, who do we have? Bipin, do you have anything that you would want to ask? Bhir?
Would any of you like to add anything, any specific question? At least drop in a sentence if your expectations were met. I mean, we don't want to make you feel ashamed also by calling out names. But we would definitely and sincerely love to hear from you all whether it was satisfying and whether there were, I mean, we could have added something more. No one speaking up. I
Yeah,
think we can
so we can wrap up. Yeah.
Yeah, we should wrap up now.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.